Hello, my name is Yolande Poirier and I'm from Oracle Technology Network. I'm here today at Devox France interviewing Emmanuel Bernard. Emmanuel,
Hi.
Bonjour.
Hey.
Emmanuel, tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, what do you do?
Yes,
What do you
so
work on?
I work for JBoss, the middleware division of Red Hat, and I do many things over there. But I'm known for being part of the Hibernate team, working on some of the projects over there. But I do more stuff nowadays, like everything around data in the JBoss middleware. I'm trying to coordinate this kind of work. But I'm also pretty heavily involved in the JCP. I'm the JPA expert group member and also the bin validation lead. And I also touched a new language called Ceylon, so I try to help this team part-time, but I don't have that much time. And I know many French will be listening, so I also do a podcast named Les Cascodeurs Podcast.
Okay,
So, go to lescascodeurspodcast.com and, register to the feed.
cool.
There you go.
So as part of the member group for the GPA, so what's new there? I mean,
So it's in many ways it's like a small improvement, not in a bad way. It's because I think we've added a lot of features already. So we're at version 2.1. That's the version we're working on.
okay,
And if I had to, there is many little improvements we're trying to add, mostly from the feedback from the community, like, oh yeah, I would like to get this additional new feature, or in this case doesn't work very well, etc. So it's very hard to list all of them, but if I had to spot three, the big one is multi-tenancy. So the ability to say, my application will actually work for different companies. It's one application, but splitting the data in isolation between different companies and having JPA help you in this area. So it's a big topic in the whole cloud, stuff where trying to deploy and minimize the memory footprint is a key part. So we're working on that. And as an example of other additional features that are very community-driven is the CDI integration. We're pushing even more to get object injected into the interceptors and other managed object inside JPA. And I'll also mention stored procedures, which is the old classic stuff, like my database is legacy and I need to bind this stored procedure into my application.
okay,
Do I have to use JDBC? No. With JPA nowadays you can map it using binding between your stored procedure and an entity that will be used.
okay.
So yeah, there's
sounds
many
like a
other
lot.
subjects. So
Right.
if you're interested, just I guess Google JPA 2.1 and come to java.net. I think the project is hosted over there. You can already read draft of the first or second draft already of the specifications and give us feedback, please. So,
Cool.
yeah.
So, and you're also working a lot with validation.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit more about that.
So bin validation, I'm the spec lead, and again, it's an evolution. We did bin validation 1.0 for Java EE 6, and we're working on making it better for Java EE 7. And in many ways, we were conservative the first time. It was our first spec, so we tried to not mess up and everything. And now we're getting feedback from the community about what is missing, what could be made better, and we're trying to improve it again. An example of that is method validation. So a lot of people told us, that's great, I can validate my objects when it's received from the front end, from JSF, for example. What can I do? But I would like to be able to validate the parameters of a method that is being called. And we didn't have that. We have a lot of the underlying infrastructure, so we decided to improve the API and expose the ability to validate upon a method call, validate each parameter to make sure they are valid. And you use the same annotations that you use in bin validation, the regular one. So that's the big feature we have worked on early this year. Another one is integration with CDI. So again, we want the whole EE ecosystem to work great together, and integrating with different specs is a key. So injection of object inside your constraint validator, stuff like that. JAX-RS, which is the REST specification to bind a Java object and service into REST. JAX-RS will actually delegate the validation to bin validation, and we're working to add the feature they need, and also nicely make it look it's very natural. It's the same way. That's a bin validation way all across the platform. That's the two biggie we've worked on early this year, and we are like a long list of features that we're working on. It's fairly open, so priority will change, and we'll try to address what people are really interested in.
Excellent. Sounds like a lot of work.
Yes, yeah, that's my problem. I wish I could give up sleep, though. I do love sleep, so it's a kind of a big
trade-off. So, and you have also a presentation at Devoxx France, right, around the JPA and NoSQL.
Yes,
that's correct.
So it's the interesting thing, because JPA has been designed to be relational centric, at least in the designer mind, right? But NoSQL is really catching up, and everybody's kind of experimenting. And moving from one NoSQL solution to another is a lot of work. Like, there is no standard programmatic solution. I mean, there is no unified model to use one versus the other. So what we are exploring is trying to use JPA, the same API, the same semantic and everything, but instead of talking to the relational database, we actually talk to NoSQL solutions. So it could be a data grid like Infinispan or Coherence Cache, those kind of data grids. It could be a document-oriented solution like MongoDB. It could be more like a column-oriented solution like Cassandra, etc., etc. It's very early stage for us, so the project is named Hibernate OGM for Object Grid Mapper. But we're pushing, exploring, MongoDB, and next will be Cassandra. See if it fails or if it works. But so far, it's pretty good.
Okay.
I have to mention we're not the only ones. First of all, each NoSQL provider tries to be friendly for their community, so they do a JPA-like stuff. But they usually start with a couple of annotations, and then they say, well, that's too complicated, so we're just going to do that. We really want to do the whole JPA stuff. But I know the Eclipse Link team that I work with them on the JPA expert group are also exploring that. So I can totally imagine JPA 3, exploring this NoSQL support, for the next version of the standard. But let's experiment and see if it works, and then we'll push that to the standard a bit later.
Okay. So talking about open standards, there are also open standards in the bin validations, right?
Yeah. So what we the JCP has tried to evolve and be more open, so they created a new version of the JCP rules. And bin validation 1 and with the version 1.1, we really try to push that to the maximum. So everything is open source, so the implementation, the reference implementation, the TCK, the API, so people can get it from GitHub and try to change stuff and provide us feedback. The mailing list is in the open, so anybody can join, not just the expert group. I don't have to validate anything. It's open. Well, if you try to sell Viagra, I will dump you out. But that's the only.
We won't do that here.
Really. And of course, the issue tracker is open. But even the website that is talking about bin validation is actually open. The source is available on GitHub. People can get the source, fix something, add new documentation, do a proposal, push that back, and we try to work with them. So if you're interested, you got time, come with us. We got lots of problems to solve. So we're interested.
So if you want work,
yes, exactly,
you're the person to talk to, right?
Yeah. I try to delegate as much as possible to be able to get my, duty sleep.
Oh, okay. That's excellent. Well, thank you for your time, and thank you for being with us, and good luck with your presentation at Devoxx France. And thank you for being with us.
Perfect.
Okay, that's one.
Super.
Good.